This YouTube channel that has plagued the platform with fake trailers and AI thumbs has finally been brought to justice. Hello YouTube, how's it going? It's me, Amanda, aka Vamp. Some of you know me as Vamp, and I am here to tell you about this news that is so exciting. I just had to make a video on it, okay? Because this is a monumentous day. I feel like I just wanna scream, we're free, all of us on YouTube, all of us that have been bothered by this channel for so long. We are finally free from the shackles of seeing these thumbs. What is this channel and what am I talking about? Good question. Well, there was an article that Deadline recently did, basically exposing the weird side of YouTube, which, let's be honest, YouTube has many weird sides, but one of the weird sides of YouTube, which is AI-fueled fake trailers and thumbnails. Now, leading the charge, one of the ones that you've probably seen, that I've probably seen, well, wait, I've definitely seen, I've seen it way too much, is screen culture. Specifically, this is the channel that the article focuses the most on. They actually did an interview with the person behind it, Nikhil P. Chaudhry, who is from Mumbai, India, who prefers to go by Nick. They did an interview with him. He is the person that made screen culture. But basically what happened is these are thumbnails and trailers you may have seen on YouTube. They're fake, and they typically use other footage from films or other trailers spliced with AI at this point and make something that is new, that is a fake trailer for a fake film or for a real film that is coming, that is a concept trailer, that is imagining what this trailer, what this film might actually look like once we get it. Or, you know, for films that, like I said, haven't been announced, but they're just creating an idea of what that film could be were it to come into being. Now, concept trailers, just blanket, aren't necessarily bad. I actually think with concept trailers, there's a lot of artistry that you can see in some of them. And the focus on editing can be really cool to see what people can splice together and make fit. So there has been some cool stuff out there in terms of this genre of YouTube. However, there has also been stuff that I think is exploiting the actual people behind these films, the studios, the IPs, the performers for sure, and doing so in a way that is not verified, that is not approved of by studios, but just doing it because they're trying to make the most money possible. So while sometimes there can be artistry involved, other times it feels like it's just a straight up money grab. And screen culture is one of the worst offenders, I would say, that I have seen. I don't actively watch most of their content, but I have seen some of it. I've seen enough that I knew that I never wanted to see it again, and every time one of their thumbs pops up, I pretty much always report them. And I know other people that have also reported their thumbnails who find them to just be so frustrating, so annoying, and just such a misrepresentation of a film that also tends to focus on the sexualization, especially of female characters, but also just in general, not just female characters, in general, to promote their thumbs, which is also crazy when a lot of social platforms are really weird just about women who even have bodies. So to see someone else creating a fake image without, you know, even that performer's consent, the studio's consent, to make money off of that in that way, it just doesn't, it feels gross to me. It feels evil to me, to be honest with you. The Deadline kind of zeroed in on them in this article where they outline why these fake trailers are a problem and what is going on with them and why they're allowed on YouTube. Should they be allowed on YouTube? That's kind of what the article is trying to get into and answer the question of, and just all of the problems where it's exploiting talent and also misinforming audiences, the negative impacts it can have on film studios and films in general, and kind of the clickbaitiness of it as well. As a result of this Deadline article, YouTube actually did something about it, which is pretty crazy when you consider, I know there are so many people that have been reporting channels like this, and yet nothing has ever happened as far as I know. Now, granted, I guess things could have happened and we just weren't told, because I don't think YouTube tells you necessarily when they take action. However, in this case, they've made a pretty big a pretty big change where they removed the monetization from Screen Culture and other channels like it that are profiting off of these mostly AI-driven fake trailers that do misinform people. And I can say that they do because I know people both in my community and people in my everyday life who have come to me and said, hey, did you know about this Black Cat movie that's happening? Or, you know, insert thing here, not specifically Black Cat, but did you see that this person, this actor, has been cast to play the next Spider-Man? Stuff like that, where it's not true. And it's because they've watched stuff like Screen Culture. In some cases, they have literally watched Screen Culture and were misinformed as a result. And that is because it also is not clear that these are concept trailers. I think there would be less of an issue with something like this if it was clear that these were fake trailers, but the channel has clearly been banking on the fact that people cannot tell the difference. The article goes into that and points out that in titles, while they haven't used words like official in their titles, and they don't use words like concept, so they aren't saying, yeah, this is not real. They use words like first or new to kind of work in that middle ground of, you know, we're not saying it's real, but we're not saying it's fake. But don't worry though, it's all okay. Because you know how we fight this misinformation from the Screen Culture side? The video description. Of course, they put in the video description very clearly, you know, this is not real. This is not a real trailer. This is fake. So, I mean, for their one of their most recent ones on March 30th, Thunderbolt's Ultimate Trailer is what it's called. Watch our Ultimate Trailer Screen Culture concept for upcoming Marvel Studios movie Thunderbolts, asterisk, 2025. So they did use the word concept here. And that's pretty much it. So they said it was a concept trailer, but other than that, they didn't even like put a disclaimer like, just FYI, like, might be misleading, but we want to clarify this is not real. That's the best that we got in that one. They put concept. Now, the problem, of course, with putting anything in your video description is no one reads the video description. Probably you watching this video have never read a video description, which is totally fine. Video descriptions are, like I said, they're mainly there for YouTubers to put a description of what the video is to maximize on keywords that, you know, you don't necessarily can't fit into your title so that your video can be seen by people and be easily found. The other thing that you might do, I put resources and stuff in my video description. Sometimes you put links in there. I put links to other types of content so people, if they want to find me in other places, they can do that. But for the most part, no one checks them anyway. So we kind of are screaming into the void often when we carefully craft these video descriptions. But that's not the point. The point is, therefore, if you put something like, hey, FYI, this is not real in your video description, not a lot of people are going to see that. Not a lot of people are going to know that. I would say a better place to put something like that, if you're not putting it in the title, would actually be in a pinned comment. Do they have a pinned comment on this? Hell yeah, they do. Avengers Doomsday in production trailer and a link. Wow, that's not something that says this isn't real. That's just something that advertises something else in a way that screams, you should watch this because it's totally a real trailer when it's not. In production trailer, oh my gosh. That is where we're at with the misinformation. And like I said, I know people that have experienced this, and there are people that even just come to rage comment to be like, it's ridiculous that you made this. This is clearly not real. Also, by the way, when you rage comment on something, I would encourage you not to. I would encourage you to not even click something if you feel like it is that bad of content. As soon as you click it, you've given engagement. Even if you downvote it, you're giving it engagement, by the way. If you comment on it, you're giving it engagement. All of these things are going to boost the video. Even downvotes boost videos. So to all my haters out there, there's not that many, but to all of you, thanks for boosting the content. That's the issue with this stuff, is that people will come and even still engage out of rage. So people are being rage baited into watching this content. That's the misinformation part, but it gets worse, okay? I think the worst thing about this issue is that it is using AI to recreate voices and appearances of actors without their permission, without studios' permission. And how are the studios responding to this? Well, they are claiming that they should get the money for it, but apparently that's about it. Sometimes with concept trailers, studios will come through and say, we'd like you to remove this content. and the content is removed. But for the most part, it sounds like, based on the Deadline article, that major studios, including Warner Brothers, Sony, and Paramount, have all reached out to just basically say, we would just like the ad rev. Now, this is a huge problem too, because for actors and for SAG-AFTRA, which is the acting union in the States, they've actually exclaimed that this is a huge issue because it means that these studios are not protecting their IPs, which they should be, and not protecting their talent, which they also should be. And they should instead be saying to these people, please remove this content. We don't want this content. It's not good. The other issue is that it misrepresents a movie. So you watch a concept trailer, maybe you don't know that it's a concept trailer. You think that's maybe what you're going to be seeing. You then go to the movie. The movie disappoints you because it wasn't like the concept trailer that wasn't real. It was fake, but you didn't know it was fake because the only mention of that is it's saying concept in the video description. And this is also happening at a time when our box office is really struggling right now. So it's really upsetting to me to hear that this can also be causing a huge disconnect between fan bases and the actual content that they're getting, where they are feeling confused about what they're receiving because they feel it was misrepresented in a trailer that just simply wasn't real. And this makes a lot of sense to me because I have heard from a lot of people that, you know, watch my content in my community and just people that I've talked to in general, like in the real world, IRL, who have talked about going into films with this idea of what a film was going to be, but not based on anything officially that was said by the people that made the movie. The really upsetting thing as well about this interview is that while it brings up the issues of, you know, AI and the way that performers are being presented, especially with also some of these thumbnails, like I said, that are kind of like really weirdly hypersexual. And the other issue of it being, you know, misrepresentation, when Deadline actually talked to Chaudhry about it, he didn't seem to think there was really anything wrong with it. He was like, well, we do tell people that it's not real, and I think everyone pretty much knows it's not. Which is just ignoring the fact that you know that people are clicking it because they think it's real, right? Like, that's gotta be a lot of people that watch this content. They're being misled, and you're banking on it. And the fact that you're in denial of it, I think, is a problem. And the other thing is when they were asked about some of the thumbs being weirdly sexual, like in the article, they give an example of a future fake Inside Out 3 trailer, which has a thumb of Riley, the main character of Inside Out, and she has cleavage on it. And when they asked about that, it was like, well, she's older, so like that kind of makes sense. And I think the quote was, every single studio is misogynistic, hence we don't really pay attention to critics. Which, first of all, I don't think is really true. I don't think every single studio is misogynistic. To say that is to not actually own any of what you've done to contribute to the misogyny in films. Just admit, you're doing it for the clicks, and you don't mind that it's misogynistic. Just say that, because that sounds like it would be more true, to be honest with you. Anyways, it is good to hear that some action is being taken, especially in regards to just how much, like, AI slop is kind of being served up with a lot of this stuff. Now, granted, I would also like to add a little disclaimer that I personally don't see AI as being inherently good or inherently bad. I think AI is a tool, and it's really all in how we use it. However, that being said, there are good uses for AI, things that we can use AI for to just make our lives a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, a little bit more organized. That's nice. But I think with that, there are also more evil ways that you can use AI to, you know, mislead and misrepresent things, to misinform people in a way that is dangerous. So that's kind of where I stand on this. I just wanted to highlight it because I don't know if people have been following along, or I assume there's other people out there that watch my content that probably are also bothered by screen culture and channels like it, and like to hear that finally something is being done about it, because it's been a long time coming. I actually wanted to make a video on screen culture a little while ago. I think I was thinking of making one like even last year, but I wasn't really sure how I wanted to go about it and what I wanted to say, and even if I should do it. I was still kind of humming and hawing whether or not it was okay for me to pick on a channel that, you know, maybe there is something good about this channel. Like, I don't know, I'm not as well versed. But to hear someone else go in and do their research on the channel like Deadline and present all of this, I just felt like I had to come forward and draw attention to the fact that there are so many channels like this that bank on, you know, the film industry, while also kind of doing harm to it, that I feel is so frustrating, and just I'm glad that action is being taken. That's all I have to say about this. Let me know what you think of concept trailers down in the comments below. Do you feel like there's merit to them? Do you feel like there is a time and place where they're actually really good? Do you just dislike them entirely? Do you like screen culture? Are you a fan of screen culture and you feel like what I have said is not true, and that screen culture actually does have good intentions at heart and it's just about creativity? How do you feel about AI being used in this way? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's not fair? Do you think actors should be compensated for stuff like this? Do you not think that? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. As always, I just ask that you keep it civil, and remember, we are here to discuss, so I always try to keep an open mind when I'm discussing with people online, and I hope that you can just give that kindness to other people. Thank you so much for watching. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'll see you next time, and until then, friends, stay nerdy. Bye!